almost 2 months in planning, and it's just been an amazing experience working with both the candidates as well as the community. This forum was very important because it brought together 15 organizations to actually work together here in Montgomery County. And this is basically to tell the community we are, the African community is a force when we come together. I'm from Ghana, and I refer to myself from Ghana. Others, there are Nigerians, there are Sierra Leone, Ethiopians, but individually we refer to ourselves from the country we're from. The organizations we're affiliated with only deal with that section, either the country we're from or the area. However, in America, we are seen as Africans. It's basically up to us to recognize this and work together.
Touchscreen machine gets activated by your ballot now. You used to get a little credit card looking little plastic card to activate your voting machine. Now the paper ballot will actually activate the machine. And now you'll just walk through your selections. This is very similar to past years.
The African immigrant population has so much to offer. We are loving and we are welcoming. We have great culture, we have great food, and we want to now be embraced in the fold of everything. And so that's what part of this forum it brings them into that voting process. It brings them into meeting candidates, meeting elected officials, so that way they are now seen as a person and not just a number and not just a category of people.
Here in Takoma Park, we have a front row seat to what's happening not just here in our community, but regionally and across the country. Takoma Park is a very diverse community. But just as in other parts of the country, what we're seeing is that the divide between the haves and have-nots is growing. And we need to make sure that we stay a diverse community, but that we also stay in an inclusive community. And everyone feels part of this community. And in order to do that, we need our city government, we need county, we need state, and we need the federal government to all be working together to ensure that we cut that gap, that there isn't a huge gap between the haves and have-nots.
Recently, Daniel Karoma did a study which actually says there are 185,000 blacks or African Americans residing here in the county, which is about 17.9% of the total population here.
Even though we come in here highly educated and we become even more educated, the level of services that we receive as African immigrants is very low. Policies that are in place really do not benefit us very much. The reasons why we have these sort of forums and why we want to have more of these forums to make sure that our voices and our concerns are out there. We are a highly educated group of people. We come in educated and we become educated, but many people are underemployed. You have doctors who are driving cabs. You have lawyers who are waiting tables. Not that they're not, those jobs are not, you shouldn't be proud of them, but that's not what you went to school for. But because you're coming from Africa, whereas if you come from another country with those same credentials, you can practice. You can become a medical doctor. You may just have to take some tests and you can do it. And you can, but as an African, the likelihood that as a doctor or a nurse, without having to start all over again, is very low.
The importance of this candidate forum was really to have the candidates engage the African community in an environment where the issues pertain specifically to them. Immigration can be made into a general format, but we have other immigration issues that are different from Latin American and Central American countries, from European countries. We have different educational opportunities and missed opportunities that are different from all of these other communities.
It's very important as Africans for us to come together and to work together. And it's not until we come together and work together is when we will we'll be recognized in the community, where we will actually be able to achieve things beyond what we're achieving now. The Maryland primary election is on Tuesday, April 26th. Early voting begins on April 14th. Be sure to get out and vote. And I want to thank all the candidates, both Senate and Congressional District 8 for coming. And I want to thank all the elected officials that made it out today. And I want to thank you, the audience, for making this event happen, and thank the viewers for watching. Make sure you get out and vote, and make sure you continue participating important events such as this in the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Run, hide, and fight is what we call our active shooter defense mechanisms. Run if an active shooter or an active assailant is actually threatening people in any way with serious bodily harm or death. We would prefer that you run away, get away, hide, and call the police. Hide if you can't run anywhere, then do your best to hide inside an office, lock the doors, close the windows, pull down the shades, remain quiet so that the shooter or assailant does not know you're in there. The last is fight. If you have no other recourse and your life is threatened by this assailant, do whatever you can to save yourself and those around you by whatever means you have.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
I just heard 2 shots go off. Oh, there's more shots. There's another shot.
Shut up! Shut up!
The Takoma Park Police in the training academy work with other departments like Montgomery County Police, Prince George's, Park Police, to train as a team to go in and seek out the active shooter and to confront that person and eliminate any further threat to any other civilians or people. When officers go in as a team, it's anywhere from 3 to 5 officers going in as a team. They move quickly and cautiously through the building, checking for open doors, checking for doors that are locked, and trying to get quickly to where the sounds of shooting are. If they don't hear the sounds of any shots, they move quickly to where the last reported location of the active assailant was. Once they confront the assailant, we try to get him or her to give up. If not, they have to take whatever appropriate action they need to eliminate the threat to anyone else that may be in harm's way.
Clear this classroom in front of us firstly. Ready? Time 22, we have a shooter, classroom 1, first floor. I'm out. So if I did reload. Moving up with him, moving up. You got him?
They use hand signals as well as the police radio. When you're going through the building, some officers have the mics that are near their ears that they can turn down and listen to. Others are done with hand signals that are prearranged during their training. With Takoma Park, we have our Emergency Preparedness Committee that I'm a part of. We have the police department that you can contact here at the city by dialing 301-270-1100 and ask for myself, Ron Hardy, or for one of the officers that may be on duty to answer some of your questions. Always be aware of your surroundings. Know where the exits are. Be cognizant of the people around you. You know, most people have a purpose when they're out shopping. If they're spending more time watching you, then maybe you need to notify the authorities. There's a good video that the Houston Police Department put out that you can find on FBI.gov, or you can just go on YouTube and just Google active shooter, and you can come up with some good videos by police departments that show you how police officers are trained. Also further discusses run, hide, and fight. If you have any questions about emergency preparedness, you can contact me, Ron Hardy, at the City of Takoma Park. My office number is 301-891-7126, or Ron H at takomaparkmd.gov.
Dedicating a beautiful mural here on Holton Lane at the very edge of Takoma Park and the very edge of Montgomery County. We're seeking today to bring together every corner of Takoma Park. This New Hampshire Avenue corridor is probably not as well known as some other parts of Takoma Park, and so this mural and this festival today are an effort to raise the visibility of this area of our city.
This area doesn't have really any public gathering space. It's pretty much all private property. So by putting the mural here, we're kind of like anchoring this block as a place. We're trying to do place making.
The mural is wonderful. It's about migration. It looks at animals who are migratory, and given this time in our history, what's going around in the world and here in our own state, it's very important that we celebrate people moving from different places. And in Takoma Park, we have always been a welcoming community, and we'll continue to be that for people from all around the world.
I love the mural. It's the sort of thing that you can look at and then you want to keep looking at it, and the more you look at it, the more you see. It's such a big, it's 80 feet long and about 15 feet high, and it's wonderfully done, and I just think it becomes a landmark. People can say, where's Holton Lane? Oh, well, that's where the mural is. Or you could say, well, we're going to be at that, we're going to meet in front of the mural, and that sort of thing. And so, plus it's a lovely piece of artwork, and it takes a bare wall and makes it into an exciting asset.
It is good, because this place needs a little more lighting and illumination, especially when it's dark.
I compiled the email list of people who signed up in every session, and we had over 100 emails, and this doesn't account for the kids and people who don't have email addresses, but we had over 100 people working on this. In our studio, we focus on themes that bring nature together with social or society and communities, social communities, and we often use visual themes that are based from nature, and therefore we chose a grouping of migratory animals to kind of celebrate the fact that we have the freedom to move around the globe and seek places that are better, and we can create better lives for us and our friends and our families. And we held 2 sessions with local community in order to develop the artwork, the sketch. And in those 2 or 3 sessions, we basically came up with the overall design, the composition, and the people who participated in these sessions, they helped us to find the right animals to put on the wall.
This area was a major kind of middle-class shopping area in the 1960s, and in the 70s it kind of transitioned to be an African-American community. In the 80s it began to become a Hispanic community, and today in 2015 we have a big population of African people from all over the world: French Africa, Ghana, Senegal, Cameroon, Nigeria. We have South Asians from Pakistan, India. We have people from the Middle East and Asia. So I would say it's all kinds of people. And we also have something unusual. We have a big professional group of businesses. We have 2 major office complexes here. So we have doctors and dentists, lawyers, and tax preparers. So we're not just retail. We have that mix.
Montgomery County is a community that is flattered and honored to be a magnet for people from all over the United States and all over the world. People bring their talents and abilities here to Montgomery County because we are a welcoming community, and as a result of so many capable, able, skilled people, we have a healthy economy and a really interesting and exciting community.
The Crossroads areas, I think you can safely say it is unique in the state of Maryland. There's nothing quite like it, certainly not in Baltimore, certainly not anywhere else in Montgomery or Prince George's County. And the goal here is to revitalize this area, bring in better businesses, but also at the same time to maintain and really preserve this unique international quality that we have here in this, so that because that's the hallmark of this area, its diversity, its international flavors, and we want to save that so that it will be welcoming to not only people who live in Takoma Park, but also the folks who live in Langley Park and the other areas around us.
The significance of the Crossroads for Takoma Park is that it's a place where different parts of our community really come together. And we're very lucky to have Melanie Isis and other people working to actively bring our community together. So Takoma Park has a very strong stand on immigration. We're a sanctuary city, and also we are passing a resolution on our city council welcoming Syrian refugees to our community. Right now there's a lot of fear and people are reacting to the situation around the world. But we need to remember that the best way for us to move forward is with compassion and empathy, and that's how we'll build stronger communities, and that's how we will end the violence.
So I helped with the whale there in the black. I want them to see artwork that they really enjoy. Yep.
The celebration of Takoma Park Elders is just an extension of an existing monthly meeting that we were having. We thought this would be a great way to kick off the continuance of the monthly meetings, but we thought that we might want to change it up a little bit based on the feedback that we received from others.
Seniors do need social events to bring them out and to meet each other. It's quite important to give out the information and as a social event.
Oh, the event was fantastic with the camaraderie, the networking, meeting new people, especially with the music. That was fun because the music acted like a facilitator, brought people together, people were up and dancing. And it was a lot of fun, it really was.
This was an excellent event. It's an opportunity for seniors to come together because too many seniors are isolated in our communities. So to get out and be among people and have good music and good food and make connections is what people need to have a very good life as they age.
Today was a fun time. We had music. We had a game we called Musical Memories, where we would play a CD that residents brought to the event, and then after the song was over, we would ask them to share a memory from that year or that decade with the person beside them. And we found it was a big hit. People really enjoyed it. We had people getting up and dancing, and we had a Soul Train line we were doing, and it was great because we had music that went from like the 50s to the 90s. And so the feedback that we received is when we have our next meetings, which will be ongoing the last Tuesday of every month from 10 to noon, except for June and July, for us to implement this musical memories so that people can dance each time and move around and have fun.
Seniors need someone that would love and cherish them, you know, make them feel that they are part of society. Because when you have retired from your job, or you know, and you reach a certain age, you need to interact with one another. You need people to make you be a part of society.
We need both physical and psychological support. You know, after we working, you know what? Like we out of the social and alone. When working, you have many friends and a social life. But when no working, especially when disability and chronic illness, everything is gone.
We are planning currently to have meetings in senior buildings during the daytime for the seniors in the apartment buildings, and bring speakers we had before and address topics such as legal issues, mental health issues, and so on to discussion.
One of the biggest needs is for socialization. Residents that may be living in their homes or apartments within the city of Takoma Park and don't have the friendships or the connections that help to keep them feeling happy and inspired and well and connected. So this served a very important purpose in the fact that it brought people together who may not otherwise have had an opportunity to meet, and they shared a fun activity. And the hope is that, you know, these friendships, beginnings of these friendships will develop, and people will continue to carry them outside of the events that we have every month. So as far as the needs of the seniors, Lifelong Takoma does outreach. People come to the office. I receive phone calls, emails, people expressing what their needs or interests are. There's also the Lifelong Link, which is in the Takoma Park newsletter, which provides resource information connecting residents to services, programs, and support. The Lifelong Takoma program does outreach in the form of events, as well as going out to the community and speaking to residents. At this event, we had a handout. We provided individuals with different topics that might be areas of interest or need, and then we asked for them to circle those which are most interest to them. That helps us to be aware of what the needs are and also to augment our programming so that it's focused towards those areas that are of most interest.